you know.
Yeah, that sounds great for
Okay.
anybody else who needs to hear it. So first of all, thanks for everybody for being here. Obviously, I was thinking about it this morning. I realized that we only started in January of 21. And I was looking at my husband going, it's been going a lot less time than you and I both keep thinking it's been going. And we've been growing very, very fast in that time. Yep, January of 21. Because I started attending this church in August of 2020. So one of the things that, as I was discussing it with somebody recently, that we've been talking about is just how God's been moving through all of this. For those of you who have not heard this story, when we were moving up here, I was looking for a co-op. I found one actually that met our check boxes. And it was, the next time I went to look for it, it had disappeared. So the co-op had completely dissolved. I don't know what happened, or if I just could never find the website again, but it was gone. Hi, come on in.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Go ahead, there's chairs over there if you wanna grab a chair, and there's coffee and snacks here if you wanna grab something. And I'll do introductions here in just a minute for everybody.
Okay.
But during that point in time, when we started attending this church, as I even tried starting a co-op in our neighborhood. And I had no intention of actually starting one, I just wanted to find somebody to fellowship with. And there was one other homeschooler in our neighborhood, and she had teenagers about to graduate. So it wasn't a good fit. Sharon came to me completely separate without knowing any of this was going on and mentioned she wanted to start a homeschool co-op here at the church. So that's where it started. And we had 16 kids who were all church members pretty much, who were all still, but half of them were actually public school kids who just couldn't go back yet because everything was still shut down. So they really just wanted some classes and a sense of normalcy. Since then, obviously, we've grown a lot. And it's been interesting watching how God's been working at it every step of the way. I couldn't do it, first of all, without any of you, because otherwise I'd be a person who has a really, really interesting idea, and that's it. And I am so grateful to, like, every single year we have increased the number of teachers that we have. More and more people are coming on board wanting to help. And it down to this morning, God providing a teacher. Which is, in case anybody wonders, which is why the calendar is never out early, is because God's always providing teachers, sometimes within 24 hours of the schedule coming out. So I am very grateful for all the people who are willing to jump in and step up. And if you want to actually start by going around and introducing yourselves, because we have a couple of new faces. Amanda, do you want to start?
Sure. I am Amanda Sabin, and this last year was our first year at the co-op, and so I'm excited to be jumping in, helping teach this year too.
I'm Heidi Mason, I'm not homeschooled. I pulled my son out in January, so I homeschooled him, but I'm going to be homeschooling both my kids for the first time. And I'm excited. I'm teaching co-op class.
I am Mandy Barr, and I forgot to pay attention to what we were supposed to
Just
say.
introduce
Just
yourself.
yeah,
that's all.
okay.
I have 2 kids, they're 10 and 12, they're both girls, and I love to teach, but I'm also quite a bit scatterbrained. About that.
I'm Sherry Lopez. I think this is my 3rd year at the co-op.
This would be the beginning of your 3rd year, yeah, we started at the same time.
I've been homeschooling for 26 years. I have 7 kids. I'm on my last, I hope. So,
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Mary Sejifa. I'm 22 years old. I'm Asian. I speak French, Creole, and I learned to speak English. Okay, it's a pleasure for me to be here.
I'm Michelle Van Winkle, and this will be our 2nd year. Well, 2nd and a half. I did half a year, and then a year, and then now a year too. So, but anyway, I have 2 kids, Sam and Sophia, and they are 9 and 11.
I'm Jennifer Raymond, and I think we started last autumn here. We've been here for 2 semesters. Shayna and Callie are my two daughters. They're 12, just turned 12 and 13. And this will be my first time teaching, so I'm really, really nervous about it. Like, I just want to do it justice. So any suggestions and things and encouragement you have is awesome.
You
I'll
could
take
do
it
it.
all.
You could do it.
So,
Do it.
We're capable, so
Hey.
we're closer to you and also
Come on,
Rebecca.
Look, here, I'll just put you
Oh.
on
I can't see you.
No, I can hear you, yeah. I've seen her before.
And, and this is John. John, we just got to you, and Barbara introducing everybody.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Like, I think this is year 3, 2. I can't remember now. Yeah, no, it will be 3. Yeah, because the first year didn't teach, and then last year I did, and then this would be the second year teaching. So, yeah. And you know what? Yeah, we were so like the first time I came here, I was like really nervous, like because. Or really just unsure of anything because I was new to like homeschooling and that kind of stuff, and I really thought like, oh man, I don't want to blow it, because you think like, oh, you know, you're trying to make an investment into your kiddos, and you just don't want to feel like you're making zero progress and floundering, and then and to me also in the back of my mind, I also thought like there's this threat that maybe the state is like, dude, you know, you're not doing everything you're supposed to do. Here's some handcuffs, you know. Like that's where my mind went, kind of, you know. And so for sure, exactly, yeah. Like FBI, open up, you know. Like, dude, we're doing math. Like,
We're laughing because we all have the same thoughts.
yeah, exactly, right. Yeah. So,
I thought I was the only one.
Yeah, right.
Paranoia City.
yes, for sure. I know, but yeah.
Awesome. And I was just introducing everybody. We've got obviously some new teachers. Heidi and Sherry are both new teachers, as is Marie. And poor Marie, I cornered her last Sunday and said, I heard that you speak French. So we're really, really grateful to have all of you here. And I also wanted to just point out that as God was continuing to provide teachers, God then provided me an assistant. I came to Michelle about 1.5 years ago and said, I need help. I need an assistant. I need somebody to keep me organized. So she's not only taken on my His Girl Friday role, where she keeps me on task. Thank God.
Thank you, Michelle.
Yes, thank you, Michelle. Because it was a little scattered before that. She also has taken on the receptionist role and making sure that everybody has everything they need walking in the door. They have information. So she has taken on a huge task in that, and I am so grateful to have you as my Girl Friday, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
And as
Welcome.
God, we've started by praying for teachers, and God gave us teachers. And I prayed for help, and God gave me Michelle. And I've been praying for the possibility. We have no plans. The military has not told us anything, but I know at any point in time we could move. So I've been praying for somebody to take over my role. And this year, God has also provided that in Amanda. So as Amanda is going to be coming alongside and learning the administrative roles, so this way she can take over the ministry if and when God calls us to the next place. So I wanted to let everybody know. We'd be keeping it with secret because I wanted to announce it to everybody. I wanted to introduce everybody to all of those new roles, and I also wanted to let everyone know that we have access to more classrooms this year, and I'm very excited about that. We actually have access to all the rooms in this hallway, which is going to be wonderful, so we can expand some of our class offerings. They're all blank slates right now. We get to decorate the room. I'm very excited. So with all of that, the only other announcement that I have as far as changes coming this year is we are still trying to keep the co-op costs really low. Try to make it beat everybody else in the area out as far as what we are going to be, what people can spend on the co-op. We did, for everybody's sake, for everybody's sanity, we are paying for a new registration program, which has a touch of a learning curve. I'm getting training on Monday for it. I'm getting a video training session with some of the creators of the website, but it's Homeschool Life. And we are going to have the calendars posted on there, all of the classes posted on there, everybody registers on there, the students, the wait lists will be auto-populated on there, so it should make the registration process a lot easier, but it does cost. So the registration cost, instead of being $10, is gonna be $20 for the families. And we are asking that while it is fantastic how many teachers we have, because we need them, we discovered last year that we had more teachers than we had not teachers, which meant more families were free than were paying. And we used up 75% of our budget last year. So we are going to ask, we still want the classes to be free for teachers' students. We are gonna ask that the teachers pay for their background check and the registration fee, just to help cover their registration in the system and any little things that come up. So as long as that is still okay with everybody, then I wanted to give you guys a heads up and not surprise anybody. Before we keep going, does anybody have any questions? Because I've been talking in Blue Streak.
Is that gonna make enough of a difference?
It's gonna make a small difference. It's not gonna make a huge one. We are going to have to take, ultimately, since that $20 is for the background check, and half of that registration fee is covering the actual registration. It's really only $10 a family, so it is not going to be a lot. We are going to have to see if it works. I'm trying to take rather than make a huge leap, I'm trying to just take baby steps. But if this is also what this meeting is for, if you think it needs to be different, then this is the place to voice that.
I was just wondering, how much are the classes for their,
It's normally $10 per child per class
for the quarter?
for the whole thing.
Okay, because like the other club, I'm paying $50 for 5 weeks, and
Right.
$300 to register. So that's great that they're so low, but I
Yeah,
was expecting like,
like
No. So if you're
$10 per
student,
kid per class per quarter.
well, that's
Yep.
good though.
That's
I mean,
fantastic.
but I mean, I'd be willing to like, cause I already budgeted to like donate what I was gonna pay, at least from us, cause like I budgeted like what I said down.
yes,
But that's great.
every 5 weeks is $10. So essentially it breaks down to $2 a class
That's
per
so
child.
crazy. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So
I'm
if it's a semester class, then it's
Then it's $20. So yeah, like the IEW.
For semester.
because some of them are semester long.
Maybe
classes.
I overdid it. I did 2 co-ops.
will we
But this is so good. I was like,
will we replenish kind of like our budget at all, do you think, this year projected? Or do you think it'll still be 75% empty?
I think it depends on actually mostly the activities that we choose to do. We're coming up with some new ideas. Mandy apparently has a skill set that I didn't know about in hunting down field trips. So she's been telling me about all these awesome field trips.
Ooh, I love those.
So if we can keep field trips down, because that is one of the biggest expenses that we have throughout the year, then we might be able to recover some of that.
Okay.
So it'll just kind of depend. Again, if you think as a group, if you think it needs to be more, then that is up to you, because that's something that you would be committing to. So I will take input.
Personally, I think 50% off would be a steal. I mean, it's already a steal for like the $10 a class.
Right. You mean for teachers?
Yeah.
So while it does seem like that in theory, the reality is if I'm teaching a 1-hour class and I have 2 hours prep at home, then sometimes for my mental health it would just be easier to pay somebody else the $10 to do it. And so to have it be completely free, it's like I'm trading my time for your time. And so for me that is a huge exchange, you know? Like I'm giving an hour and you're giving me basically what I put into it, the 1 hour of teaching a class and 2 hours of prepping for that class. We're trading hour for hour in that. And so if it was like the 50% and I realized that we're only talking about $5 classes.
But yeah.
But it does add up.
It does. It does.
And I think that because our co-op is so stinking affordable, that I would prefer if that extra cost was absorbed by the people who are receiving 3, 4, 5 hours of
Oh yeah.
free time.
There's
Does that make sense?
that's
So is the
And I
suggestion
really
there to up the
Instead
Yeah.
of the teachers taking
Yeah.
on more cost, my preference would be that the families who are receiving that break.
without.
Yeah,
Without
because
being-
that'll
without the
encourage,
responsibility of
that'll
teaching.
encourage parents to want to teach. It's like, oh,
Exactly.
it is going up. Maybe I should
And
teach
it's
one time.
Still wildly
Yeah.
affordable. at
Yeah.
$15.
But if
Yeah.
you have more than one kid, like I only have two, so two is not. But two people have 5 or 4.
That's,
That's
and
not-
that's like, I only have one kid, so I
Yeah.
don't mind paying the $10.
Yeah.
But I see what's, what she is saying, like, there are families that are here all day. When we've been, this is our 3rd year, we know there are some families who don't step in at all to help or teach, and they have 3 or 4 kids coming here.
Well, that's
$5
gonna
more for
change.
them. $5 more for them per kid, it's only $20. Like, it's not even, they're getting free.
However, if there is
Childcare.
an actual need, then I do support the idea of scholarships.
Well, and actually, we have done this
Some
past
larger
year.
families.
We did scholarships for several families who were in need. There was one family who couldn't afford it at all, but they had one child, so they had a full scholarship. And then we had another family who had a large volume of children and health issues and medical needs. So that one, we gave them, I think, 50% off of their total price. So as needs came up and they came to me, then we did adjust accordingly. I do want to keep this as affordable for the teachers as I possibly can because we need teachers.
Yeah.
If we could trade off something to get teachers, then that's a big deal.
There's another group summit, but their classes are like $50.
Yeah, that's it. I just signed my kids up for that.
$50 for
Yeah.
what, 4 weeks?
I've paid probably $700, and
So I
it's
don't
only
think
for
it's-
till January.
$300
They're just registered. I
registration
just
I
paid
think
for it.
raising, the families $5 a kid isn't, it's
No.
gonna help the budget, and I don't think it's
Yeah.
unreasonable at all.
I just
We
think-
have another
Yeah.
group out there who's
Yeah.
like charging 4 times
Yeah.
as much.
That's what I thought it would be. So I was like, I'm just preparing to pay about $1,000 for this.
Yeah. I just feel like the budget should be
Right.
filled back in.
Like,
Like,
and I think that
for
the families
for
that
scholarships or field trips or
even if you had 4 kids, that's
Supplies.
really $20 extra for
Yes.
like, more activities.
Yeah.
I know
It does
swimming
seem
is
like
$100 a
restricted
month, so.
Yeah.
But you leave your kids. You don't
$20 a month for 4 kids is not unreasonable, or
I don't know, you guys.
Yeah.
You can take care of my
Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, because there's like we're
I'm like, are you
growing
good?
too, and so we're gonna need
Agree.
more
So that you know.
supplies. If we want to do scholarships again for people, like we
It
have to
does enable
replenish
us to
that
do
budget.
Okay.
And yeah,
Do we do any fundraisers or anything that make
That's what I was gonna ask.
We have never done
No.
a fundraiser before. Oddly enough, I did get approached this week. I was at an on-base event. It's called Back to School Brigade, and where they give away school
Yeah.
supplies through some of Operation Homefront and all this stuff that you guys really don't care about.
We care about how it supports you. So
Oh, thank you.
Anyways, moving on.
So I'm talking with one of the vendors. There was a Chase Bank vendor, and they were offering. Actually, I was talking with him because they were offering free financial classes to teenagers. So I was discussing with him about the possibility of coming and doing a 1-day session.
Workshop, yeah.
And then they flipped the tables on me and started asking me a whole bunch of questions. I thought they had kids that they wanted to come here. At the end of it, it turns out that they are part of the community outreach, and that was the first time that it dawned on me that we might have groups that want to support this group. So we're gonna start looking into that just a little bit here and there, see if there are ways that we can get other groups to come in and help support this group. It never even occurred to me before because I actually had to come to church and ask Bob about the legality of that.
Yeah, that's good because of church. Is this like a church?
We are a church ministry.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's not like separation of churches. I don't know.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
It's not a public
we are a
co-op. It's a private.
It's a church ministry, but we are in a slightly gray area because we are still educational and we do a lot of outreach and we do a lot of opening our doors to absolutely anybody who wants to come in and take it. You don't have to be a church member. So we actually have this with one of our curriculums. We're straddling this weird line as a church ministry and as a very public nonprofit group.
So would it be tax deductible if a company is it tax because I know
Would they get a tax
well yeah because when I worked
deduction?
on the PTA we were ours
Yeah.
was in a 501 or whatever and so we couldn't get companies they wouldn't give money to our PTA because we weren't taxed.
It wasn't deductible for them.
So actually, that'd be a great question that I need to ask the lady who handles the taxes here. And let me write that down.
It
so I
should
make
be
sure.
because the church is a 501c3.
Yeah.
The church
I-
is
I
It's
would
sponsoring
like
that.
Sunday
Yeah.
school on Monday, so.
And
Yeah.
so
Because
if
I was like, then I could reach out to
We're all
businesses
believers.
that like,
yeah,
to do donate paper, or donate
nice.
crayons, or
You might
donate,
become
because that's
Do
what I
you have
did.
experience?
Well, that's what I did. I did it for years with my PTA. So.
Oh, okay. And I've got Mandy, she's
Yeah.
Can we make an Amazon wish list?
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
I'm okay with
Well,
that.
that's what I did for
Good idea.
years, like public school.
Good
So
idea.
I've done it.
All right, I need to talk with you about how to do this because I've never done this
Okay.
before, and this is a whole new
Yeah.
area for
Because
me.
we got, I mean, that was public school, but we got everything. We got so much donated to us. Companies donated bikes from when we gave away bikes for school. We donated blah, blah, blah. And we were not taxed. It's like they didn't get any tax credit because we were not taxed.
So if you had that to leverage.
Yeah, they would be
you
like,
could-
okay, and then you
So I don't
can
know
write
if you included this in the idea for maybe getting businesses to donate to the co-op and supplies and stuff, but also scholarships. Can we maybe reach out to companies who want to?
there
sponsor
are yeah
scholarships?
there are a
Especially
few
like a
companies
small
that are
dentist that were like a dental.
still
Yeah, like
yeah.
so kids can come.
Yeah. And we reach out to people in our church and be like, hey, do you have a company that you'd like to donate? Because I mean, I would reach out to Real Hope. I was thinking of like, I always try to get my husband's company to like, hey, well, he could never for my PTA, so it wasn't tax deductible, but if his company could do something, if it's tax deductible.
See, this is a whole area that I like
Yeah.
never even
Because
touched on. I
Oh,
know
really?
nothing about this.
I'm all about money.
Yeah, I know a couple conservative-minded businesses that would probably
Yeah,
sponsor a family for $45. I mean, that's so
right.
cheap. Like,
Well, and I know that the one thing that I want to let you all know is that the church is actively looking for ways for us to expand. That's why they made it so this way we had access to all the classrooms this year. We got approached asking about, do we need to rent room dividers? This way we can bring them in on a weekly basis for the main room. We pumped the brakes on that just a tiny bit. But,
Not quite there yet.
yeah,
Not that big.
but I know that that is also the church's goal to find ways to expand this. So I think I need to talk with you, and we need to talk with the person who's in charge of our taxes here at the church. I do know that we would have to go before the board and ask permissions. And that's a lot less intimidating than it sounds. It's Steve and it's Jerry. It's really not that intimidating to go before the board.
Mission.
But we do have to get their permission in order to pursue this because it is technically still a ministry of the church. It would be, we'd have to get their approval for that area. There was something else I was going to say and I can't remember what it is now.
Well, Mandy's in charge of the Amazon wish list.
Oh, I was
well, should it be set up underneath the RHCC email?
As far as the Amazon wish
Yeah.
list, we might have an Amazon account attached to the church. Let me find out.
Yeah,
So I need to make sure that the church doesn't already have one and we wouldn't be creating dummy accounts.
yeah,
We've authorized people to add to lists too.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So that way it's
And then the
all
stuff
on
gets shipped straight
one
here.
list
Yeah.
and not like
Iced coffee.
this teacher has a list, this teacher has a list, this teacher has a list. It'd be nice if it's all just one.
It would be nice to have just one giant list. What we might be able to do is because new accounts would have to pay for a whole new Prime account, I might be able to just create one under mine and add all of you to add to the list. So this way we have a running Amazon wish list.
Or if you could create it under Amanda's, that way when you leave, it's still
Yeah.
That is a very, very good point.
Mhm.
Amanda, you want me to create?
I think she meant the other Amanda that's
That-
gonna be in
this
charge.
one.
Oh, the other Amanda. Sorry. We have one
That's
Amanda
Mandy. That's Amanda.
Well, and it's funny because I actually grew up being called Mandy, so.
And I grew up being called Amanda.
This is gonna get really confusing.
And I got high school Amanda.
That's what name badges are for. No, it's Mandy.
So, the one other thing I wanted to let you all know is we will in fact be having our treasurer here on Mondays because her son is going to start attending the co-op. So if we do have treasurer questions, we can actually ask her directly instead of me saying, hang on, I'm gonna see her this week. Yes, yes, her son has requested for about 6 months now that he wants to be homeschooled.
Oh, that's so cool.
As far as your all's needs, is there anything off the top of my head that you know that you are going to need ordered for your class? I know a couple of you have mentioned that you need projectors. we have some portable projectors, and if there's no class in the main room, we can use the main projector. So we do have access to projectors, we just have to make sure that we have that distributed correctly.
Yeah. Ultimately, I mean, this course recommends using an overhead projector, but I could probably, worst comes to worst, can use a whiteboard to do the same kind of thing. So.
Yeah, because I need to see if we can find an overhead projector,
Yeah,
frankly.
So, I mean, don't stress
Yeah.
out about it too
We could
much
check
because
government surplus.
it can be done without one, but.
Good old, I grew up with the projectors.
All right, so let's see what we can find as far as an overhead projector.
You might even find an older church that has one they're willing to sell.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, churches still kind of have them.
Yeah.
Some churches have it.
They don't have the flash just like ours.
Yeah. I mean, that's where I've always seen them now, is at a government surplus or a church.
There are videos, that instruction that goes along with it that I could show, but I'm not sure how available they are anymore because this is an older curriculum, so.
Okay, well, we will pivot and we will
Yeah.
do what we need to
Yeah.
do as far as that goes.
Yeah.
That, no problems with that.
We'll figure out a way.
Okay?
I want to say, can I say something?
Yeah.
Okay, so you kind of brought up how, there's parents that don't do anything. So
Thank you.
this year, that's not going to happen.
No, I wasn't complaining.
No, I know, but every teacher, this is good though for all of you guys to know. So we're going to be asking parents, well, first off, it is going to be required that they are in the building. Everybody has to be in the building. And if they need to work on something, they can be the study hall monitor, which is this room. So they can sit here on their computer and just make sure kids are not, climbing the walls. Other things that they are going to be asked to sign up for at registration is going to be a dedicated helper per class. So there will be somebody who is dedicated, so I won't be running around asking people last minute, hey, go here, hey, go here, hey, go here. So you'll have an assistant who is in there the whole time. And then also we'll be divvying out the cleanup tasks a little bit more
And the nursery
across the board.
tasks.
And nursery, we're going to have nursery, because there's a lot of people who have itty bitties and they're like, well, I can't help because I have my toddler. So we're going to do 2 people in there, so that will free up people.
Are you going to be required to either be teaching or helping at every single class or one class per week?
It
That-
just, yeah, go ahead.
Well, that's gonna depend a touch on the volume of
Yeah.
parents. If there's need, then we need parents involved the entire time. If we have more parents than we know what to do with, we're going to
Yeah,
have to work that out.
yeah. So it'll be a little bit of an adjustment, but it's basically going to be kind of known when they're registering, they're going to be helping. They're going to be doing something. It's not like I get free time, kind of thing. And because I remember when the first half of semester that I came, Rebecca was here for 3 hours with her kids cleaning the church after co-op.
Yeah.
And that's not fair to her at all, or her family.
When we all benefit.
Yes. And so I was like, oh, that was my first thing. I was like, that cannot happen. There's people who can push a vacuum. There's people who can put chairs back. There's people who can do things. We also might have a change though this year because, and you're supposed to find out, I don't know if you found out yet, about now that the daycare has completely changed their setup, because they're moving out. They're still going to use the church, but they're moving their storage and everything out. We might not have to set up the rooms a certain way. I don't know. We're supposed to find that out.
Yes, we are supposed to find that out, because it will, if we don't have to set it up for daycare, we might have to set it up for Awanas or the senior meetings.
Yeah, yeah,
We are going, I have not yet had a chance to meet with Bob and
yeah.
find out what the latest status is on the daycare,
Mm-hmm.
but we will have hold of that knowledge very soon.
Yeah, because that was one of the biggest things too, was resetting all the rooms. And so if there's no specific way they have to be reset, that will make things a lot
not making
easier.
that the teacher's responsibility
Yes.
after dealing with everybody else's.
Well, the
kids
teacher has prepared everything, they have come and they have taught, and so it really needs to be, you know, other people step in and help push the tables back together, you know, kind of thing. So, because it shouldn't be the teacher's responsibility and it shouldn't be only Rebecca's. So, yeah. But anyway, so we're going to be a little bit more on top of that this go around this year. So,
All right, and I will see if I can get a hold of that information ASAP.
yeah.
Again, this is how my brain's been functioning on a daily basis. Like, give me a second, it'll come back. Does anybody else have any other questions or concerns that they want to bring up right at the moment? Thank you for bringing up the
Yeah.
volunteer thing, by the way.
I have a question.
Yes.
So last year, near kind of the end, we had a lot of spouses coming in,
Uh-huh.
and which is great. But they were like coming in and helping in the rooms and stuff like that. So are we going to make sure that if they are coming, that they are all also background checked?
In theory, if we are going to ask the parents to background check for the safety of the children, we need to have all of the adults background check for the safety of the children. It presents a really strange gray area
Yeah.
if we don't. It would be a lot easier for the families if they didn't have to, but it's something we probably should make them aware of at the beginning of the year.
Yeah. Registration. Like, hey, if sometimes your spouse is going to show up, we need a background check.
Well, the same thing, I was gonna have my mom visit, because I'm gonna do, you know, countries, teaching kids about countries, and my mom is gonna come 1 week to teach them about Ecuador, 'cause she's from Ecuador, or live there, and so. Hey, Brandon.
Come on
Oh,
in.
yeah, so would I have to have her background checked too? I mean, she's
Yeah.
background checked, she's Patrick's wife, so she's not going
I know you're
It has to be done though through
So, like,
our
they-
church,
Okay, so she
because they're
has
not
to-
connected.
Okay, so I'll just get her a background check sometime, so she can come.
Yeah, yeah. So I think any kind of like special guest, all that kind of stuff,
Okay,
that should be done ahead of time.
got it.
What is it, like a 2-week turnaround at the most with that?
At the most, and generally that goes to one specific email in the church, so I have to contact that person and they give me a
Yeah.
print off of everybody who's got updated background checks and
I'll
does
just
it.
get
Yeah.
her done, just 'cause in case she need her anytime. She's a retired teacher, she's like, I'll help you with whatever's fun. But she lives in 2 hours away, so she'd have to come down and spend the night before.
So she doesn't necessarily want to teach every week.
No, if she was in town, oh my gosh, I would have her be a co-op teacher. Like, here, she's my designated person.
Aw.
She doesn't. No, I'm trying to think of anyone in this town, like, who could come in and do special classes. Because we do so much with, like, I know all these little classes. Riley does a lot with her Girl Scouts and people coming in and teaching them amazingly cool things.
Well, and actually, I'm glad you mentioned that because that segues into something else a little bit more fun, a little bit less work related. This year, one of the things that we want to incorporate are a couple of different fun things outside of the classes for the kids. We talked about the financials class for the older teens. I would love it if we had a safety week where we had everybody involved in EMS, LEO, all of that stuff come in 1 week, and that is where the kids get to experience things. And that one might not all be on a Monday. It might be spread out throughout a week, but we can invite everybody to that one, not just the co-op kids.
Mm-hmm.
It would be kind of fun for the kids if we incorporated at some point in time a spirit month where they got to do the crazy hair day. I'm getting some faces.
I think Spirit Month would be really
That was my
fun.
favorite thing when I was kids was
Yeah.
public school. Was my
I almost suggested that the teachers get a spirit week and we get it all dressed up like we looked like when we were their age.
Oh,
They
it was
had
so
it long ago.
I thought watermelon body spray. Cucumber body spray.
Oh, yeah, that was my thing.
Cucumber melon from Bath and Body Works.
Yeah.
Love potion.
Oh my goodness, baby soft.
Yes, loves baby soft.
Okay, so, but some things like that, we also discussed setting up in that gap hour that we have between karate and the last class, setting up clubs. We had kitchen hour last year, that seemed to be a huge hit.
Mhm.
Why not set up a whole bunch of different clubs? Let the kids, if they are not interested in cooking in the kitchen, well, maybe they want to learn something about photography. Maybe they want to learn something about government. Maybe they want to learn something. They have a whole bunch of different clubs.
That sounds like another class.
Yeah, it'd be child run though. It would be
Be
a
like a
club.
chess
There'd be
club.
an adult in there to make sure that they don't like rip anything off the wall.
My son wants to do chess club. I think that's
Chess club.
He's obsessed with chess.
Club.
Chess club would be fun.
Yeah, so you know how you'd ask me like about a face painting and balloon twisting
Yeah.
type of thing. So I'd be more interested in doing that. You know how so the cooking club, you know, it was facilitated. You know,
Yes.
there was an adult in there, and so you know that I had like a part of the reason I didn't go for the younger kids is just because I've experienced in giving lessons. And so that's why I was thinking like the older kids would be more like it. So if I did do something like that, it would be for the older kids. And if it could be a club, I mean, maybe that's the way to go to do it, you know. And the way I see it is, what's that?
My girls would love the face painting.
Yeah. So and that's what we how it would work. So I'll tell you what has happened with us like over the last few summers is we always have like in this case we had somebody live near us. And we asked her to come face paint with us, and she learned how to face paint like over the last few months, and then she started working with us. So you know, it's not necessarily, you know, I'm not trying to get. The idea isn't to now I get another face painter. The idea is I just want to make sure that, you know, it's almost like a charter school, you know, where you get some alternative type of skill set that could be valuable to you. You know what I mean?
Well, and the interesting thing about that is Washington State does require an occupational studies credit,
Sure.
which means going in and learning what somebody does as a business for a trade. So that would actually fulfill a requirement.
Yeah. So
So that would be cool.
Can I jump in on that though?
Yeah.
If there's gonna be balloons in the building, then I can't come.
no,
Okay.
that's the thing. Like it just depends on.
Face paint, but no balloons.
Right, and it doesn't have to be, because we run across that. It's one reason like hospitals won't hire us because of the latex allergies, actually. You know, so yeah, absolutely understood.
Okay, so maybe we can work with that because the allergies are still
Sure.
something that we do want to prioritize. So
But if we just focus on the face painting side of that,
Mhm.
without the balloons,
Yep.
I think everybody could get on board with that, right?
right, well, and I know that you did the magic tricks for the kids at one point in time
Oh,
too,
sure.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't always have to be the balloon twisting.
Right.
Yeah, but it's
That would be
That would be really
Yeah.
that would be really cool.
And I like that idea of finding things to meet that occupational education, even if it's like one-off stuff, similar to the safety.
Right.
And come and
People
talk
in.
about it.
And yes, anything that we can get where people talk about what they do for a living, that does meet the occupational requirement.
I would even do a full semester course, having different people come in each week.
That might be
If
an
you have
awesome-
like one teacher
A
that can
facilitator.
But that
facilitate.
could potentially be at a very high expense because you wouldn't wanna be like, hey, come teach, pay $20 for your own background check.
Yeah.
Oh, do we have to background check, like, if a firefighter comes, we have to get them?
We've never done that. We didn't do it with the CPR people
No.
who came in.
Because
Yes.
those people would be background checked, like, they would straight be background checked
Well, yeah.
already through their employer.
Well, and the
Oh, yeah.
truth be told, the reason that we do the background checks is for the people who are in the building, who have any potential of being alone with a student. Those people would not have the potential of being alone with a
We
student.
never background checked people, if a teacher brought in a guest, the teacher's in charge background check, the guest wouldn't be background checked. At least in the public school.
Yes.
But the
Right.
church has a rule, their insurance.
Let me find out.
But I haven't
Um,
been background checked to be a children's teacher here.
You're not background
No,
checked?
they
Oh,
background-
you're required, you're actually required to be.
Then, I mean, I've done it for Girl Scouts, I've done it for other things, but I
Yeah.
haven't done it here, no.
Yeah, oh.
No one's asked me.
I understand the weekly teachers, but I don't know about guest speakers, because
Yeah.
most churches, as long as there's a guest speaker, they're not backgrounds.
Yeah.
Well, and then that does,
Sunday school stuff.
Well, but they're not going
Something to
into the
explore.
nursery
yeah.
to hold
Churches and
babies.
insurance.
Right.
You know,
Right.
like,
Well, like her mom would
Like if
have
my
to
mom
be,
comes and I'm the teacher and I'm not leaving her to teach, I'm.
her mom
I
shouldn't
understand.
have to be for one class, 1 hour.
Right.
If she's
I mean,
not
I'll
gonna touch
do
the
it,
kids.
but-
However, if that's the case, then they need to be supervised, buddied the entire
Oh,
time,
totally.
even to the restroom
Yeah.
area.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
Just saying.
So
Yeah.
that actually presents a great question then regarding one of the things we asked about earlier is the spouses. If the spouses are not teaching, if they never have a potential of being a lone student, they're literally coming in to pick up their kids, because we had a couple of times where dads came into the building just to pick up their kids.
But yeah, that's,
That's
different.
If they're should we ask that then? Or should it just be the person, if you are planning on being here as the legal guardian in charge?
Yeah.
I can do the
Yeah.
background.
Well, but there's also those some like I think it was Jordan's husband, which I know he's a police officer, but he started coming and just hanging out in the classroom, like, but he wasn't really like the pickup person. He was just probably off of work and coming to spend time with his family. So that kind of scenario, if they're here and hanging out,
We can't pick and choose.
I think if they're,
No.
I think that you
In the
can
sake
though.
of
I think
fairness,
that
then
if
yeah.
there's,
So you
if
can
it's
say, "Girl,
a
please."
one-time event, then that's easier to say, no, you're fine, we're gonna buddy you with Michelle,
Yeah.
and wherever you
Right.
go, Michelle's going to go.
yeah,
But if it's somebody who is going to be on campus
Bringing
potentially
it out.
frequently,
yeah,
then I think that it would be completely fair to say, you know, if you're gonna be on campus, you need to
Even
do
if they're a
background checks.
police, like,
Even
it doesn't
if
matter
they're-
who you're.
Well, the police
Well,
officer
police
would be
already have a
background check.
Yeah.
Well, so let me just double check what the church's insurance and their policies say in regards
Yeah.
to this before we continue with this one in particular, because this does present some gray areas.
yeah,
So let's find out what legally we are allowed to do, and what legally is expected of us before we determine what parents must or must not do. Does that sound reasonable?
Yes.
Okay, I will get, that's gonna be a today thing.
I have a question, because I've never done this club. Is this like the kids stay the whole time, or you pick and choose classes you take, or?
It's a la carte, you pick and choose classes.
Okay, so you might, so do you like, if you take one, the early ones, you could take your kids away and then come back for it, or, I don't.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've never done this.
We actually have parents do that.
Yeah, and then this room will be a study hall,
Okay.
so if kids wanna sit in here and there's books.
Because their
Oh, okay.
sibling is in another
Oh,
class.
that's good to know. And then if you teach one, if I'm teaching one like semester or whatever, that means I don't have to pay for any of the class, or just the one semester I'm teaching, I'll pay for
The semester that you're teaching.
Okay.
So while you are actively a teacher at that point in time.
Okay.
Because we do sign-ups again in the spring, since military families move.
Right.
Quite frankly, homeschooling families move. I had homeschooling families jump up and move
Yeah.
in the
Just why
blink of an
not?
eye.
Go in an RV and go to travel.
Yep, and they're gone, and they're spending the rest of the year homeschooling on the road.
Good
So-
stuff.
We do that this way, nobody feels like they're locked in, they're paid for a full year.
Oh, so you're only going till
Yes, yeah, we do.
sign off.
Yep,
I
classes
don't, I
will
don't
be
like
by semester.
commitments, so I only do it usually till like December usually. Commitments.
Okay, the last thing I was going to say, today I'm going to be working on putting together an email for all of you. I've got to update the co-op teachers group email, so this way I have everybody who is new added to it and everything all cleaned up. Once that is done, I'm gonna be sending out a link to the new registration site. This way all of you can create your accounts. It is not quite ready because there's a few classes that got changed, and now there's a whole bunch of new ones that we gotta add in. And we are trying to make sure it all syncs up with the calendar in the way it's supposed to. So, like I said, this is a slightly steeper learning curve than I expected for this particular website. But what we are going to be putting out, hopefully by next Monday evening, the ability for the teachers to register their children. Because next Friday evening, I would like it if, let me just make sure I got my dates right. I'm not saying the wrong dates. Next Friday evening, a week from today, we
The
want to open
11th.
it up to returning families. So, and let me just make sure I write all these down the site now that I'm saying it. I don't blow my own dates.
I'm writing it down too.
Okay,
Yep.
good, thank you. Okay, write down the actual dates, yeah. Okay, so August 7th, it's gonna be rolled out to the teachers because I'm getting training in the afternoon of the 7th, and that should hopefully clear up any last minute
You'll be a pro.
messy.
and you can send it to me first if you want to
Okay.
do out any bugs, like, or
Yes.
questions.
Okay, so the teacher's registration will be the night of the 7th. The returning families will be the night of the 11th, because on the 14th, we do have orientation, and that's when I would like the new families to have the ability to sign up. And we'll have an idea of what's happening there. Some of you have agreed to teach, at least been willing to teach double classes, where you just repeat your class for another hour if need be. I've created that class, I am hiding it on the calendar. So this way I can see if we have a wait list for your class, you can fill up 1 hour first before we move them to another class, and we'll be contacting those families to say, hey, we have an option for this class being open a second time, do you want it in this hour? So for those of you who have said you are willing, don't worry, I'm not opening that up immediately. We're going to see it, as long as it works the way it seems to say it's gonna be working on the website, it's doing what I think it's supposed to be doing, since it's not letting me like view it from an outside perspective. That's the goal, is to have that second class hidden until it's needed. So, yes.
I could do mine 2 hours, but like I told you earlier, I don't wanna teach the third hour because of the swimming.
That's fine, and I have you
We did that,
earmarked
have
for
to do
1
it
o'clock.
first. Okay, so if you needed me at the second hour, I could do it again the second hour, but.
Yeah,
I don't
I
want
have
that
you earmarked
to
for
be-
1 o'clock, I have you earmarked for 2 o'clock. By the way, these are our 2 K through 2 teachers who both, got sent to me both in the past 24 hours. So, thank you. Does anybody else have any other questions?
I still don't know the dates of like these semesters, so I need to
That-
know
that's
which
a
one I
great
could pick.
question.
Because
How
I
did you know that?
one that won't work.
Okay, we are starting on September 11th.
Okay.
It is going to be, I think technically it's an 11-week session, but it ends on December 4th, and that is always a party day, so really it's a 10-week session. We are going to be taking a break after the first 5 weeks, do the first quarter, take a week off, and that might be our field trip day. Actually, was it just gonna be a week off, or was that our actual field trip day?
For which one? The mid?
We discussed
I
all
think
of
that
it.
was just a
So what
week
was the
off.
first, so it's September 11th through October,
Through
what's the
Dec-
final?
Hang on, let's
What?
see.
December 4th.
No, but the
For
first
quarter.
five.
The first
Five.
quarter.
If I did
September
That would be
11th
Monday,
to
October 2nd,
October
and Monday,
9th.
October.
Okay.
Oh,
9th.
yes.
So maybe I should do it the first one. Yeah, cause I'm gonna
October
be,
9th, and then a break October 16th.
Heidi, when are you gone?
I'm gone October 23rd through the 30th, so that's
Okay.
part of quarter 2, so.
Yeah.
So
So
Yeah,
yours
through the
just the
16th.
first quarter.
Yeah, maybe I'll just do I can do the first quarter, I won't be able to do second quarter, and then I could come up with something for the third quarter.
And give me just 1 second, so I wanna double check one thing.
I know, I plan my vacations. Trying to
Okay.
figure out when
Here's
to
what I
do
have.
I didn't want to go.
Yes. So the 23rd that we had off, I think that's when we were discussing doing a fall
Not
field
yet,
trip,
it's
so
not
this
on
way
yet.
it was just something fun and,
It's the
because we
7th.
didn't ever actually have a fall
Oh,
field
you
trip
have to, for
scheduled.
your class?
Right.
That's what you gotta ask.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Does that work for everybody as far as the fall semester goes? It
I'm
would be
sorry, can you explain that again?
Okay.
Which one?
September 11th
Uh-huh.
to October 16th is the first
2,
quarter.
4, 5.
And then we have,
Hold on, is it a 5-week?
the fall semesters are always 5-week quarters.
Okay, so
because-
then we would end on October 9th.
Yeah,
1, 2, 3, 4,
Do I have,
5.
did I count wrong?
yeah.
Which is Columbus Day. I
I
don't know if we were missing.
You know, I've been homeschooled.
Explains a lot.
Yes, okay, thank you, yes, the 9.
So on Columbus Day, we're gonna,
Yes, we're gonna end on Columbus Day, and that's where the field trip came in, because we were gonna have a week off and a field trip.
So the 16th would be the week off, the 23rd would be a field trip.
Yes, and then we would start again on the 30th, go all the way through November. I know that bookends Thanksgiving, but that would allow us to end on the 27th of November, have the party on the 4th, and then everybody has December off.
Okay. Cool. No, not the, don't even put me in the first, second, the first one.
Oh.
when's the party, you said?
December 4th.
December 4th, okay.
You and I need to talk about what I'm teaching, when I'm teaching.
Okay.
Yeah, see, she's got the same
But
Yeah.
I
question.
don't know if that needs to happen with everyone or.
Yeah, you and I can just talk together.
Yeah, I don't know either, so.
Yeah.
It's really going a lot this year.
I think she's just been trying to work it around all the classes, so nobody probably knows when.
What? Which
I
one?
said, nobody probably knows when they're teaching.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
what
okay.
hours?
We've been, because we've been getting so many teachers in, I've got a preliminary down, and then the calendar on the website that we're working with wouldn't actually
do something fun, just
pop up.
Yeah.
So that's why I gotta go talk to them, go, why is this popping up?
Everyone can be on the same page on that same website.
Yes, but what I will do is, once I get the new classes input, I will set up a screenshot, so this way people can get an idea. I think right at the moment, if I can log into the site,
Not gonna really get through the lesson of this.
let me log in and I'll try to tell you exactly where you're at.
Okay,
You have to do the shopping, the grocery shopping, add it all.
no
up.
worries, so I can plan my mornings on Mondays.
Yeah.
Understood,
You're gonna grocery
that's
shop
important.
because
How early
that's-
do we
that's
have
like
to get
life
up?
skills, right?
And what do we have time
It
for
still
in the
does not
morning?
start until 1.
I know,
I
but
All right, and that ends on the 27th.
I don't do budgets well.
All right. Okay, so I have not input your classes yet. I just know that that's 1 and that's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I just don't have yours on the calendar as of the moment. But if I'm looking at the class matrix currently, Jennifer, I have you on 3 o'clock. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay. It'll be 3 in the afternoon, so you actually have the most time. Somebody though recently came to me and said that they wanted a different time slot. I'm trying to remember who.
I think
I
it might have
messaged you
been,
yesterday.
That's who. Yes.
About moving
Okay.
to a second.
it also might have been me, cause I might have to run you another volleyball.
Okay. All right. So I will talk with both of you and adjust the schedule accordingly.
And I don't care what.
Okay. You don't care?
I didn't care until there was French and strengths in my daughter.
Oh, I know.
And was like,
I know French Institute. My son does
Like, we're
violin.
excited.
Okay.
I know, it's at 4 o'clock, that kills me.
You
Oh,
well, I have you down as actually Tracy. That's a good question. Do you want a quarter or do you want a semester?
Either way.
That's your preference. I'm not going to tell you.
You're the teacher. You have to choose.
People who don't wanna choose.
No. Well, I'm trying to figure, like, 7 weeks with 9 kids. They didn't get finished, but they were a younger age group. So can we expect a smaller class of older kids to get through the same project
Yes, you can.
in
I
less
think
time?
so.
Yes,
I
you
think
can.
so.
Because
I
they
think
will
we're
hound
doing
their
it.
parents to get their fabric, and you can have them leave their fabric here.
Oh, we could.
Right.
That's not a bad idea.
That's
Just saying.
I love it.
Because how many times did people show up? Oh, I left it at home. Oh, I didn't.
I
We
forgot.
could have
I
it
didn't-
like
I
money
didn't
set
get it.
aside.
We didn't
Well, we
buy
could
it.
have a
Okay,
shelf
you just have
that's-
to have it turned in a week before class
We
starts.
do have.
And if
we
they
do
don't have it, then I will
an
help you
ability
harass
to
the parents.
sort.
Hey, do you have your fabric yet? Hey, do you have your fabric yet? Hey, do you have your fabric yet?
Yeah.
Hold it on.
I think they would do better with it.
Okay.
I think you'd be okay with
I-
it.
Well,
I
and
really-
part of it was just the younger kids couldn't work independently as well. Versus older kids, I would expect to work more independently, but
Keep in mind, Amina would have qualified as an older kid, and she was floundering just as badly as everybody else.
well, I felt kind of the same way about Chloe, right? Like you've worked on this machine, child. This is your machine. Why do you need my help so much? My own child was like one of my biggest like.
We should have traded kids.
Well, I can tell you right now, my son's been in the older group, and my son couldn't remember a single thing that he was supposed to do.
Alright,
I had to be on top of him all the time.
Their brains are growing, they don't think.
let's do just a quarter.
Okay.
Let's do just a quarter. We'll just do one project, not plan for anything additional, and then I can open it up a second quarter if we want to.
Okay.
Or you could even say.
Or you could
well,
If you get an
we're in off-
overwhelming
You could
amount
for
of
the next
people,
semester.
the
like-
next semester or in the off period.
or if you get a
they
wait
get extra
list, you could open up a second quarter for
Yeah.
kids
Well,
that
and
wanted to
I'm
do
willing
it.
to do a second class in the same quarter if we have a wait list in it.
Yeah,
Because I don't.
yeah,
Anywhere from 4 to 8 kids
Mhm.
is probably
max,
max.
yeah.
Right? Because 8 to 9 in the 3 to 5 age group was.
And
It was a little much.
And
Yeah,
you're
we
still
did
gonna
great.
have parents
But it would be
required in the
easier.
room.
So.
Yeah, I
Is that
still
what
do
you
want
mean?
parents in the room. Yeah. It won't be quite as like. Because older kids, and I'm sorry, but if you're in the 6th to 12th grade age group and you don't know better than to not stick your finger under the needle, then that's your job.
Don't sign your kid up. I will not put my son up.
Well,
I'm trying to think about my 12-year-old right at the moment.
I have sewn through my own finger before.
Well, maybe
so,
you
just saying.
just, now Riley would do it, but Charlie would be like, I wonder what would. Yeah, he would do it.
so I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So, because last time, it was every parent required. I couldn't because
Right,
doing
and
this.
There were parents who I said,
Yeah.
hey, you're already teaching another
But
class,
extra,
like,
a few parents.
Yeah,
As long as
We're
there's
okay.
somebody there to help. you.
'Cause you'll
I
have
wanted
a-
parents to cover down,
yeah,
but because we didn't have all of the parents, I think that added into stretching out our time.
yeah,
Because like trying to get the kids to cut a piece of fabric that was 27 by 43 inches was like almost impossible. Nobody could figure it out.
yeah. I just can see kind of maybe a potential clash because, well, it just depends on how many parents and how many people sign up, I think, because we're also need the requirement of at least 2 adults in each room.
Right, and now that we are jumping up on that requirement and having less parents,
Yeah, there's
in
not
the
going to
lobby.
be like, there shouldn't be anybody just hanging out, sitting, doing nothing.
right, now that we're changing that requirement, that is going to potentially tweak my classroom a little bit.
Yeah, because if all parents are in another class, like being a dedicated assistant or a teacher,
You would be a dedicated assistant in your class.
well, yeah, there's going to be somebody who is going to sign up to be a dedicated assistant for your class, who they will always be there, so they'll know what you're doing, they'll know,
Preferably
you know.
somebody who has
But
experience.
But she
Yeah.
had Amanda and I in there and
Yeah.
various other adults, and we were still struggling.
Yeah.
She's gonna need more than
Like a
one
one-on-one.
other.
Yeah, I know, but I'm
And
just,
parents who sew, parents
Yeah.
who know how to cut fabric.
yeah.
It's,
I'm just wondering though, because if only one parent brings their 5 kids, you know, to the co-op,
That's why mine doesn't
like
turn.
I don't know if like we'll still be able to maintain our requirement of 2 in a room
let's stretch it
and
out to a
have
full
5
semester.
in her room.
Let's stretch it out to, okay.
You know.
so back.
We
We
did,
did,
better
we
to
had
get
a
done
minimum
early
of
than-
3 to
because
4
I can always
adults
add
sitting out
a
there.
Yeah.
Even during her sewing class. they
Yeah,
had 5
but they were
adults
the ones like with the toddlers.
Right.
We're gonna be opening up a toddler room. That's 2 other adults,
Tiny little ones.
and then we have to have 2 in study hall.
Rebecca, I was gonna suggest maybe
So-
supplement it with a sewing
And we're opening
club,
classes,
which
which
makes it
hire
less.
like
It just depends on how many people register. It really depends on how many people register this year. And
As you like that.
yeah,
Okay, so let's do that.
Yeah.
I have like tutoring time.
Yeah. And if they bring their spouses or not, you know, like.
Not necessarily, I mean, people might need to come and ask you questions, but technically the clubs are just club driven.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Well, the K through 2
They generally
needs
have
more
an adult
hands-on
facilitating
helpers
it.
too.
But
So that's
it's-
the-
most
that's where
clubs are
we're
not run
in.
by
But
the
we could
actual
also
teacher
ask,
of that.
like older kids, teens who are waiting for a class, they could maybe go help, but
If my kids are in a class, then my kids are
That
in
if they get stuck, they might be able to,
Yeah.
they might not know exactly what to ask the kids to do, they might still be able to help them.
10
know,
and
like,
13,
whatever's going
and
on.
they're always, they help,
I
no
am
pressure.
like,
I mean, Riley practices.
or they could, I mean, if they're willing to be helpers during their free time, we can,
Yeah, Riley,
Pull them.
Charlie stayed for me because he wasn't helping with
Yes.
crap,
Yeah.
but Riley would be helpful anywhere. She's really
yeah,
helpful.
she'd be helpful with the younger.
And
Yeah, because she's
So-
not bad, but she's good.
well, we can.
I trust her.
Yeah, we'll just have to figure that out.
Just gotta have fun.
So,
I can,
To keep everything together for each
Yeah.
kid.
well, and I can also look into
And then if
some
you
sort
like
of closing
leave,
cabinet.
like if I kids
Yeah.
out of my class, I
Store
leave,
some
or
of
should
that
I
in.
still
I
stay to
don't know.
help?
yeah,
I can't promise that, but we
um,
can see if it's something.
I could just
that's
commit
right.
to being here all day,
Well, and if we do.
no matter
have,
if my kids are in class or
all
not.
Yeah.
of their fabrics in a Ziploc bag,
I'm not
that they put
going
with their
anywhere.
folder
Oh, that's a good
At
idea.
least I don't think so.
in a bin, and it's all
I haven't even
lined
started
up.
sports. I don't even know.
That'll
what
be a lot
kids
easier
do
for them to
sports.
pull through, pull out their project.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
so teachers, just tell me what your preferred amount of helpers will be in your rooms. Okay.
I just need one.
Let me know, just let me know so that way I can help, once we get a number of parents who will be here, I can divvy them out accordingly.
And legally, we do have to have at least one other adult.
Yeah.
Yep, we have to have 2.
That's good. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's helpful if I can have one adult per child, although not necessary.
Yeah,
Not necessary. Actually, 6th to 12th
Okay,
grade.
so is that like strictly like if I came with Riley, she couldn't kids? No, I'm just that's me.
I don't mind,
Yeah.
so long as she's not taking the spot away from an
Yeah,
older
yeah.
child.
Okay. If it's open, yeah.
Yeah, and she's what, 5th grade?
Yeah, she's 10 now.
Yeah, I don't mind wiggle room if they're
Yeah.
that close.
If there's room, I'll.
because what's your age limit? What's your age that you want in there?
6th to 12th grade.
Okay.
Because we did the 3rd to 5th grade already with that pillowcase project.
Yes.
So I wanna work with the older girls
Yes.
who haven't had a chance
Yes.
to do that project. And then if we finish the pillowcases, we'll move on to other scrunchies, pot holders, aprons,
Yeah.
small, simple projects.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I think we are running out of time because 5-day club ends in about a half an hour, and we definitely need to be packed up and ready to go for Christina's sake by the time they are done. So this way, we're not keeping her much longer.
But they're gonna stay late too. for
Oh
pizza
yeah,
party.
it's the pizza party today.
And I'm gonna be here making popcorn.
Right. So never mind, scratch that. That was completely.
So y'all can stay as long as you want.
I'm just staring at the muffins like.
Have some muffins because I'm not
Have
taking all those
muffins
home.
if you want some popcorn.
And Michelle, these the almond poppy said they were citric acid. free.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm gonna take a muffin.
I'll let my kids eat one for while I'm here making popcorn.
We're going pools to the pools. We need food. We're gonna go to pools. I keep
Yeah.
on having people be like, "Hey, we're in the pool. Do you want to come?" And I'm like, "Okay,
Yeah.
I'll bring it and pay." I'm
I
paying
know,
for my
I
friend.
know.
It's like $28 every time I go.
Yeah.
I don't want to tell their parents like I'm paying for your children. I should.
I would. I'd be like, hey.
I know. Ask my husband, like, just let it go.